no matter how they parse it for you, you need to understand the Diyanet is a government organ of the government of Turkey. Because they, Erdogan came and laid the groundstone for that big mosque in northern Maryland, right? Called the Diyanet Center of America.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, me too.
So it's also cool. President Erdogan laid a stone, $110 million mosque, religious affairs of the Republic of Turkey, formally constituted director for Turkish government. Okay, let's keep going. So, about the Diyanet. Now, I won't read this to you because I'm going to break it down a different way. On the next page, you know, the, what's the phrase that's popular today? What did I say? Let's unpack this. I actually don't like that phrase. Let's unpack this. Okay? So this is their statements right here, okay? This is right off their webpage. Who are they? Okay? Let's go to the next place. The Diyanet Center of America is the operating of the Turkish American Community, TAC, a nonprofit organization of 501c3 status. So, a state actor, Turkey, is passing its counter-state operating cost onto the target nation. Counter-state operations. This is why political warfare is so important. Why do they control the universities? Because that was designated in 1971 as the counter-state center for taking power in America. What's a counter-state? Well, I'm giving you the left definition. The counter-state is the thing you build up when you're an insurgent, that the government is either blind to or just allows to happen, okay, that accrues power. And they basically said, in the 1970s, we're going to use college campuses and we're going to recruit people there. And that way, when they move from the college campuses, they'll go into business, they'll go into technology, and they'll go into education, and they'll go into government. How many people kind of see that if they were doing that in the 1970s, we're in really bad shape right now? Okay?
He was doing it earlier than that.
Okay, that's in here. They said it. They said it. So my whole thing is, just put aside how you understand the left today, and do this new, and please understand what I tell you. As hard as the first 50 pages for you to read are, and you might have to read it 5 times, it took me 3 months to get it to that. What I'm getting at here, it is hard. And it's one of the reasons it's hard is it's weird. Okay? So, the umbrella organization, DCA, has, the Diyanet Center of America, has 22 local chapters with affiliations across America and works full-time coordination with religious affairs in the Republic of Turkey. Of course they work with the Diyanet Turkey. They're part of the Diyanet. As in Europe, a national network is being established with imams directly or indirectly to subordinate the Turkish government. The imams and female chaplains of the mosque are appointed by the Diyanet, a foreign state actor establishing networks for counter-state activity along parallel legal framework as recognized by Turkey and its associated allies in the U.S., the Brotherhood. So, do groups like, is Turkey run by Erdogan, he's all into establishing Sharia law? The Brotherhood is, do they believe that Sharia is the law of the land? Is that true? Whether you
No. Yes.
do they?
Sharia.
No. Do they believe that?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, they do.
Do they believe it? They absolutely believe it. Okay, they absolutely believe it. Where is Sharia implemented? In the mosques.
Right.
What does the explanatory memorandum say? We're going to work with the mosques, which were never the equivalent to a church. They sell whole books on what the role of a mosque is. But we're not going there, because it gets quoted in a video and it gets you saying things that you're not saying, and they try to hang you up on it. The imam and female oh, we read that one? Okay. DCA has a policy to hire local imams as well. The U.S. Muslim Brotherhood led the imam-producing entity in America already aligned with the AKP. It's Muslim Brotherhood. Who created the chaplain program for Muslim chaplains in the U.S. military? Well, Al-Amoudi, a man who's in jail for being an Al-Qaeda operative and a leader of Muslim Brotherhood. So what it means is a chaplain, a Muslim chaplain, an imam in the U.S. military was cleared by someone who, out of Al-Qaeda, an Al-Qaeda operative, and a Muslim Brotherhood leader.
There's a female Air Force, yeah, I posted it, yeah. Yep.
Does Islamic law allow women to be imams?
No.
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 So what would the message be to you that they had a female imam in the US military.
That they accepted them,
Huh?
that they accepted women.
No,
No,
the US military did.
No, yeah, that's the message, yeah.
No, what is their message that someone completely unqualified in their rule book is someone they let be an imam in the US military?
in the Air Force.
Air Force.
Made no sense.
It does make sense, so long as you understand they're just like,
For me, it doesn't make sense.
they're basically telling you they have no regard for you.
Right.
Okay, because you should know that you couldn't possibly be a true imam because Islam doesn't allow imams
Yeah.
for women.
Wow.
It's haram.
Are you saying that there are female chaplains who are imams?
Yeah.
Female,
She
in the
just-
Air Force?
Yes.
Yes.
Just, she was just,
I don't know of one.
She's
Yeah,
the
she
leader of
was
it,
last
like she's
week,
in
Mom.
charge of the
It was
whole,
in the newsletter
this last week.
yeah, I posted it on Facebook, yeah.
But the
Okay.
point of it is those imams
We'll
are
send it.
approved by the
Jeannie,
Brotherhood.
we'll send it
And the
to.
Brotherhood said their mission in America is to grant jihad, to eliminate, destroy
Well, they have
America.
certain rules they have to abide by in
We
the
don't care
chaplaincy,
about
in the Air Force chaplaincy.
Oh, really?
If you look at it.
They do.
No,
But
they
it
don't.
doesn't-
They don't.
No,
They
you
don't.
do, they don't.
You do. The minister, the priest, and the rabbi do. They put somebody in there who is completely unqualified for the position in their rule book.
Well, I think she means
She's
US
saying, you're saying,
government,
the US government has rules for them.
can't
Yes, the US
discriminate
government
between
has
men and
set rules
women.
for-
And so
My
that's
husband was
what,
chief of chaplains of the Air Force
Mhm.
at one time. I mean, he's retired, gone, rest his soul.
I'm not asking you to understand how the military chaplaincy works. I'm asking you
Well,
to
I
understand
kinda
when the
know how it
Brotherhood,
does.
when the Brotherhood puts someone in that chaplaincy, I don't think you should be thinking about it as just another chaplain. And the fact that it's a female
Well, he
imam.
has certain governmental rules, there's certain specifics that are required of chaplains.
Used to be.
Who was the chaplain at Guantanamo who
I
they,
don't
they
know.
wouldn't prosecute?
I don't know who it is.
Wouldn't prosecute, I didn't know
I'm just saying.
that. I don't know.
So here, this is neither a theoretical nor a latent concern. Witness to European Union. Each one of those little red specks there is a flag, a Turkish flag, and that's the location of a DNet.
Oh my God.
Okay? In it's not even, this doesn't even, this is just this area. We're not even including France here. Okay? DNet, the Director of Religious Affairs, was oh, that's just another statement here. So, do you see that the Turks really would have a counter-state operation in Turkey?
my God.
If each one of those, as a DNet organization, was accountable to Turkey?
Ay, ay, ay,
So this is a, this is from this Gefira, but they're quoting the head of the DNet in Turkey. What does it say? The fundamental purpose of our existence is to dominate the world. Okay. The DNet and through it Ankara will become the sole mediator between European Islamic communities and Western authorities. You have a protest or a riot in downtown Paris by Islamic youth. And what's going to happen?
That's right.
The DNet will send their people say, if you want that riot to stop, you have to go through us. Do the French do that now? Does the United States? Well, we saw what happened at San Bernardino. Okay? Without the aid from DNet and other foreign religious organizations, European authorities will not be able to enforce law and order in Islamic suburbs of Paris, Toulouse, or large small cities in Germany and the Netherlands in the near future. When the DNet has established itself as the social representative, and they know they're playing with that word, of the many local communities in Europe, regional and national authorities can only keep control over neighborhoods through the Directorate of Religious Affairs in Ankara.
Downstairs to a bathroom.
So these people got blown up and attacked for making that assessment. Here are all these marches, Rotterdam, Paris, Germany, okay? Okay, yes, they got in trouble for that article, so they had to report last year, the Turkish government's Religious Affairs Directorate, the DNet, in cooperation with the Muslim Brotherhood network in Europe, is set to move European Muslims with a new secretariat to be set up in the Turkish capital of Ankara. It is happening. How many DNet centers did they say were in America besides the one in Washington, D.C.? 22.
Say that again?
22.
22.
20.
Well, they're
Oh,
in DNet
okay,
centers.
yeah, that's,
They're going all over.
Does the Brotherhood call them, they call them masjids, but what do they actually name their organizations? Islamic centers, in which you have the Islamic society. And anything with the word Islamic society in English lets you know that is brotherhood. So that, well, I know those guys and they're pretty nice. You know, individual people are pretty nice. And you don't meet these people like they're, you know, Satan incarnate. When you meet these people, they're very polite, very good, you know, very smart. Or not, I mean, as anybody else is. But what happens is, they'll say, well, I know that, so I know this is called the Diyanet Center, the Islamic Society Dar al-Hijra Mosque. And I know that the #1 al-Qaeda operative in America was the imam there who counseled the 2 people flying a building into the Pentagon. And I know all these other people were doing stuff. But you know, before he became the #1 most the #1 targeted al-Qaeda operative after he left the United States, you know, he was doing the prayers on Friday in the Capitol building. Because he was our outreach partner. Did you know that?
I did know,
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
the prayer runs right
He
in the
was,
basement, yep.
the FBI could not follow him in the Pentagon when he was briefing our generals about outreach. And then when he flew the country, then they decided, well, yeah, okay, we had it classified that he was a terrorist in al-Qaeda. But if you're getting the sense that our people are broken,
Say his name.
Anwar al-Awlaki.
Say the
oh,
name.
we're all walking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Fort Hood should have gotten
He was showing up in the Capitol building to do the prayers on Friday. While walking. So if you say, Steve, our elected officials and our generals can't be that stupid, I'm not going to say that. Because I've got a job to keep. So here is Ramadan, Tariq Ramadan this is a banquet hall in Dallas, Texas, like at a Hyatt. And he's basically saying our job is to come here and colonize this area. He uses the word colony. And he's warning Muslims not to be colonized by Americans, you're here to colonize them. Steve, did you get a translation? No, they filmed it themselves. How did you, it's in English. So here's just something to show you that the IIIT, the International Institute of Islamic Thought, a Muslim Brotherhood entity, wrote a book about how they were very high on the OIC back in the 1980s. So, a sobering thought when considering counter-state operation political warfare regime. This book, Restricted Warfare, came out 2 years before 9/11. 2 Chinese colonels, that is the equivalent of the Chinese War College, wrote a thesis. Okay? This is in every one of my briefs. Because I want you to understand the whole world knows this about America. Okay? Whether it be the intrusion of hackers, a major explosion at the World Trade Center, or a bombing attack by bin Laden, okay? All of that happened 2 years later. And this is China seeing this on the wall. All of these greatly exceed the frequency bandwidth understood by the American military. The Americans don't even understand political warfare. They're going to get rocked and they're still not going to get it. This is because they have never taken into consideration and have even refused to consider means that are contrary to traditions and select measures of operation other than military means. What are the Chinese saying? The Americans are frickin' stupid. And they don't get in a situation where they bring their military, they'll steamroll you. They'll destroy you. But do everything short of that. And you can get them to kill your enemy, who were actually their friend. Okay? How did it happen all over the place in the Middle East? Think about that. The Chinese know this. The Russians know this. Al-Qaeda knows this. And the Brotherhood knows this. And they wrote a thesis on it. So in political warfare, it's about growing the counter-state. So what you'll have is, in a political warfare, there's people, technical skills, weapons, propaganda, media, finance, organizations, and they break them down in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines of effort. To then further break down into lines of operation. Okay? There's the political, there's the violent, there's the non-violent, there's allies, there's international. And they fight to an end state. So if you're going to meet an enemy engaged in a political warfare effort, the entire political correctness imposes this regime. Okay? Then you have to meet them in every one of them. So what the Chinese military is saying is, all America knows to do in international policy is politics. So you can, and I'm a group of people who are I could use really foul military language, okay? They know that all you have to do is not fight here, and you can destroy America this way. Is America being destroyed?
Yes.
There is nothing American about what Antifa does. When was Antifa formed?
Oh, in the 30s, isn't
Huh?
it? 1930s.
1934. In Germany, by the Comintern, the Communist International. What was its original name the next year it was formed in America? American League Against Fascism and War. And what was one of their #1 missions? To penetrate the Christian communities. Did they do it? They did it in spades. It's just a little piece of information, you know, because this is what has to be understood. Social justice is Marxism, okay? Don't, oh, well, I know this person, they'll let you hang anything you want on it, so long as social justice keeps moving forward. So the attack into the Protestant world, in the intelligence world, there's kind of an aphorism that there's 2 types of things to attack, there's many things to attack, but it breaks down simply as to starfish, how do you attack a starfish as opposed to how do you attack a spider. Starfish, if you attack it, you have to remember, if you cut a piece of the starfish
Grow
off,
back.
it can grow into another starfish. That's Protestantism. So the attack in the 1930s was straight into it, okay? Catholic Church is a spider. So they started the attack at the same time, but they had to move up to the center of the spider. And I think, you know, most Catholics will scratch their head about, what the hell do we do
With the princess.
with the Pope? He's not really not Catholic, he's probably not Christian, he's probably, you know. They've had bad popes in history. They've had corrupt popes in history. They have never once, by the rules of Catholic, like the accepted understanding rules,
Had an Islamic
they have
pope.
never had an overt, someone that overt. It's never happened.
He's a
They don't know what to
illegitimate
do,
pope.
but they know he's a heretic. But it's a heretic that has his finger on 1.2 billion people. Okay. The thing about it is, people have to understand that whatever it is you're seeing, that took hold in Latin America in the 40s. In the 40s.
Oh, God.
Okay. So here's Erdogan with Soros at the Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe.
When was that picture taken? That looked a long time ago.
Yeah, it's about
2003.
2003. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, Davos, I'm sorry, but, okay. So here, Turkish president repositions ISIS aside. Here he's giving a speech. If you go to the OSCE meetings, and we go there in Warsaw, Poland, every September, Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe, because Turkey, representing the OIC, gets the Europeans to adopt their laws for them using facially neutral language. Why is that important to you? Because they brought American social media in there and beat them up and said, you must adopt European speech laws that implement Islamic speech codes against Americans inside the United States. They agreed to it. And you know, I was briefing in Washington, in conservative circles, that this was going to happen, and they said, Steve, we're on top of social media, we don't see any of this. And what I'm saying, here's how it's going to play. Well, here's the thing. These things of political warfare, when the enemy pops up, that is the point at which you may perish. Political warfare, you go after them as they pop, before they pop up and you see them. Political warfare, insurgencies, you don't go to the field until you have assurance of victory. Does that make sense? So by the time they waited for everybody to be deplatformed, they had already secured the ground. Did I brief it?
Yeah, sure did.
With great specificity. Here's what's going to happen. Now here's the now I talk to these conservative lawyers, and I'm a lawyer, and they want to get like this legalistic thing. It's like, dude, when the other side wants to destroy your country, and one of the ways to do it is through lawfare, to manipulate your legal system to destroy you, you don't go to a court. Well, you do go to a court. I don't want to argue. You recognize this as an act of war, and you respond that way. Now here's the thing. Once you get social media, once you get Twitter in America, deplatforming an American citizen inside the United States for a speech in furtherance of foreign law, they're acting under color of authority of foreign law. Does that make sense? And that is a crime, because they're imposing a Marxist speech standard that incorporates Islamic law. And it doesn't matter that a guy on the left said the same thing that you said, but you got deplatformed, because it's not about deplatforming them. It's about deplatforming you. And then what is everybody doing? They're getting all these like second tier products, and everybody's conservatives there, and they're all siloed. In all little community. Everybody agrees with me in this little siloed, thing, right? But nobody else knows you're there. It's like space, in space nobody can hear you scream. When you've been kicked off Twitter and you go to the equivalent of Twitter, but only like people like you go there, you have been silenced in the debate. Make sense? And they give you that for now because they can still lose the advantage. That's one line of effort, the nonviolent effort. So the nonviolent main actor uses violent splinters to take control. Make sense? Political warfare. So wiretaps show Turkish intel supported ISIS. We all know they support ISIS. Here, U.S. Marxists tied to Turkey's orchestrated Palestinian escalations. Good morning. This is an ISIS guy. Good morning. Just a reminder that USA police are learning how to kill black and brown folks by being trained by Israeli police who openly murder Palestinians every day. Black liberation is tied to Palestinian liberation. You could argue whether that's true or not. It's kind of ridiculous. But the people who buy this, they're ready to kill for it. And they're ready to kill you for it. The left is preparing a population to kill. Islamic movement is a part of that. Did anybody see that stuff coming out recently? What's his name?
Suraj Rahash?
No, I mean, the guy who gets good video of news stories where they got this guy, the Marxist, saying, hey, we're just going to put people in...
Veritas.
John O'Keefe.
Yeah, John O'Keefe.
Who?
John
O'Keefe.
O'Keefe.
James
James O'Keefe, Project Veritas.
Okay.
Project Veritas.
What do a guy who is on the... Bernie Sanders is a Marxist.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
obvious.
The self-proclaimed Marxist.
James O'Keefe.
But he's not just a self-proclaimed
Yeah.
Marxist. He belongs to a
Yeah,
Marxist
yeah,
organization.
yeah.
Okay, well, we know how that story plays. And I really get angry with people because everybody, by the third time someone goes back and forth sending something an email making fun of how stupid AOC is, say, well, that's exactly what they said about Hitler. That's how everybody joked about Stalin. Stalin wasn't the brightest bulb in the world. Okay, that's what we were all saying about Sergeant what's-his-name down in Venezuela. You just remember, those people, when they get power,
They're crazy.
they're not crazy. They're not crazy. They're killers. Not because they might be personally killers, because that takes them there. So the whole thing is, I get really angry when people laugh. Everyone's laughing at Hugo Chavez. Everybody. Nobody in Yugoslavia is laughing right now. Okay? You want to know where America's going if these people win that election? Go look at Yugoslavia.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Did I say, yeah. Venezuela. Venezuela. So, okay. So here is the official Facebook in Arabic of Erdogan. Okay? Steve, they must be hiding this. So just to make it clear, he's Erdogan holding a prayer bead and the fez. The prayer bead, Islam, the fez, the Ottomans, and he is beating Trump. So it's why is the Trump administration so friendly to the Turks?
Yeah.
So here, ABD is USA. They're kicking down American doors. Here's 2018. Turkish President Erdogan said today that Turkey comes primarily from strategic partners. We cannot buy weapons from U.S. without our money. U.S. coalition forces give them to terrorists for free. That means they were giving them to the Kurds. This means that the threat comes primarily from our strategic partners. What did he just say there in facially neutral language? But not really. Who did he say was his enemy? Us. Okay, both countries. The United States will be wiped out, predicts Turkey's minister, who accused Washington of bullying Iran, stirring troubles in the Middle East, described the acts. That's also 2018. So, threatens to hold Christian minority population hostage in the Muslim world. When Austria passed legislation saying you're not going to build minarets in Austria, he said, Austria have all but declared war on worship. The azan and the mosques. Is that the azan? Yeah. Yeah. And the difference between Austria's chancellor today, blah, blah, blah. Threatening. So, how many people knew, the Christchurch shooting down in New Zealand? Do you know that if you read the manifesto that guy wrote, you heard about it? Oh, it's a white supremacist? He was a supremacist of some sort, but who did he say was his model? Red China, People's Republic of China. But if you are caught with a copy of that memo in New Zealand, you will be arrested. You're not allowed to read it. It's a controlled document. Now, but how many people knew that that shooter at Christchurch had spent 6 months in Turkey before he went there?
Interesting.
What I think is interesting about that is you didn't hear the Muslim. This would be something that truly is an outrage. A guy goes into a mosque and televised shooting people who are not armed. Okay, fair enough. That is just brazen murder and televising it. Okay, so you would think, I mean, that would be cause for a day of rage because that's outrageous. Is that fair enough? That's outrageous. Anybody see that video? It's really, this is cold-blooded murder. Okay, so the thing is, why did the Arab world not rise up and get angry about that? It was really kind of weirdly quiet. And these are Arab Twitters saying, this guy just spent a lot of time in Turkey. What are Arabs terrified of? Because Americans will be there, but they'll be gone one day. They're terrified of a new Ottoman Empire. Okay, so here a couple days later, here's Erdogan giving a speech. Let's go and destroy Europe, says Erdogan. Nobody caught that. So just a couple other. Now they want to make defaming Christianity a crime again. And we have the fact that there's an alliance. So, Silk Road. I think people have to realize there's the Silk Road aspect of what's going on.
You're talking about the Belt and Road Initiative?
I'm talking about the
Belt and Road Initiative.
yeah.
Pass that around.
There's a lot of positioning for that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So, anyhow, I can end it right here and go to questions if people want. Oh, let me say, this is less than a year ago, Erdogan's son, okay? Members of Turkey Youth Foundation, whose founding members include Bilal Erdogan, son of the president. The call to prayer for us is a renewal of the intention to conquer Rome, New York, Beijing, Tokyo, Moscow, and Paris. I mean, how does it get more clear than that? By the way, I want to show you, Alfal is a Turkish publication. And this is their English language version. They didn't hide it from anybody.
That's my birthday.
So,
May 1,
March
your
15.
birthday. Oh.
so I can wrap it up at this point. Any questions? I mean, is it good about time to open it up to questions?
Yeah, and we're gonna cut the video now, so people can just freely